Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Thoughts in Progress. Today I had a few things that I wanted to talk about. One of them was that I was sharing my idea to travel to Mexico and move over there from Las Vegas with some friends, some people I know, and that conversation went south. And so I just kind of wanted to talk through that. Another thing that happened that I wanted to talk about is that during my conversation with some people I know, when I was talking about moving to Mexico, they brought up the idea of something that happened in the news. And it made me kind of upset. And, I don't really want to make this a news channel or anything like that and make it a partisan kind of channel. But I thought that it would be interesting to talk about and get your feedback. And just get your feedback in general about anything that you think about that I discuss. So if you ever have any comments, please feel free to share them. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I also talked with someone that I know in my family who was really excited about the idea. And she sort of encouraged me not to get too bogged down with negative people. And anyways, okay, so first things first. I'm really excited about moving to Mexico. It seems like so much fun. I was talking with my friend who lives down there, and he's like, "Oh, you gotta come, book your ticket and come check it out." And showed me all of these awesome places that I could potentially live. He's really familiar with the area in Playa del Carmen, and he's like, "Yeah, you gotta, you gotta at least come down here and see it for yourself and spend a week and take it from there." So I'm already ready to buy a ticket to go down there and get a really nice Airbnb and see how that goes. And I think I'm going to love it. It's like basically like a walking distance from the beach, and it's smaller. The living quarters over there are a little bit smaller, but it looks amazing. Like, I'm super excited to do it. It feels like the right thing to do. I'm when you follow your heart and your heart's telling you that you're gonna love this, then you got to do it. Life is short, and you only live once. And I don't know. I'm getting to a place where I'm starting to be less reserved and really put myself out there and take risks with talking with people and doing things in life that that are intentional and that I think they're going to make me happy. But anyway, so I was talking with some people, and I told them about my move to Mexico, and first of all, they were kind of freaked out because they're talking about, like, oh, well, in Mexico, all you hear on the news is that there's, like, bodies everywhere and there's cartels everywhere, and it's going to be really dangerous, and aren't you worried about your safety and that kind of thing. And honestly, like, I've heard this before, from a lot of people talking about how dangerous it is. And when you talk with people in Mexico, they say, oh, well, that's just like the U.S. narrative. They like to sort of sensationalize these kind of things because on the news they want to draw an audience, create an emotional reaction, that kind of thing. So I sort of take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I've been down there. My friend has been down there for 10 years. He hasn't had any issues. And I feel like I'm not going to be, first of all, like, I'm not planning on being a cartel member, and That's ridiculous. And I'm not going to be a journalist or anything like that, saying bad things about the country or causing problems with it. I'm basically just going down there to, spend my money, enjoy myself, contribute to the local community, and be a positive influence, and try not to attract attention or anything like that. So anyways, but I have heard, and the people I was talking to were telling me, oh, well, there's hundreds of dead bodies, and they're always finding mass graves and stuff like that. And I'm not an expert or anything, but I think that that's mostly because of gang wars and things like that, and territorial disputes and that kind of thing. I don't think that they're basically just rounding up tourists and regular people and being violent towards those kind of people. Statistically, correct me if I'm wrong, but statistically, I'm pretty sure that crime in major metropolitan cities in the United States, like Las Vegas and elsewhere, are probably a lot worse statistically than in a small beach town like Playa del Carmen. So anyways, they were not buying it, and some people are just kind of worry warts. They just like to worry, and kind of, they don't like, some people don't really like seeing you living your best life, and they like to be a devil's advocate, and so I think there's some of that there. So during this conversation, they were like, oh, well, what do you think about this latest thing on the news with Venezuela? And I'm thinking, well, I don't really know a whole lot about the Venezuela thing. I think what happened is that he was captured, and it was a big thing on the news. But what I'm thinking is that, okay, well, so the U.S. went in and they captured the head of state of another country, and I'm thinking about, well, what if somebody did that to the United States? And I know that there's a lot of nuance here, but just from a principle standpoint, is it okay? Would it be okay for, and we can take the United States out of the equation, would it be okay for the Philippines to go capture the head of state of Cambodia, and basically take away their sovereignty and completely change their regime? And well, the people that I was talking with, they didn't like the sort of principled perspective of comparing, if America does something, is it okay for another country to do the same thing? And they got all upset because I didn't immediately agree that, oh yeah, it's the greatest thing in the world. It was, I love that the U.S. Bombed and then and then captured and took prisoner the head of their state, and now he's in some prison somewhere in New York, I guess. And because I didn't agree with these people about that particular issue, they got upset with me, and they felt like I'm not loyal to them, it's that I don't share their moral compass. And I was looking it up, and apparently there are international laws where it was like the head of state is immune from being able to be captured. And I know that there's a lot of nuances and circumstances, but from what I understand, that's sort of the international law that has been accepted. So, anyways, I had this conversation, and I ruffled some feathers with some people, and because I also didn't agree with their praise of the United States capturing the head of Venezuela, and I sort of questioned it, questioned the legality of it, and uh, wasn't completely on board. They basically thought that I was being disloyal to them, and I don't know what I'm talking about, and how dare you compare, how dare you put the foot on the other shoe and compare, what if somebody else did it to the United States. So that got me kind of upset, and I don't know. I don't think it was a really fair way to end a conversation. When I have conversations with people, I like to sort of look at all the different angles, uh, and then come up with a justifiable viewpoint based on not just whatever the narrative is in the mainstream media. You know, I don't really. I don't try to be a partisan political person. I'm kind of open to all viewpoints, and there's viewpoints that I like from different sides of the equation, and I don't know. I get disappointed that that we can't unify and take into consideration what unites us, what our common denominators are, what our common interests are, and focus on those rather than culture wars and getting all worked up about things that are not important. So, anyways, yeah, I my friends, they were not so excited about my idea, and so I'm now having to recalibrate and see how I'm going to do this without alienating people that I know. I was hoping that my friends were going to be excited about me making a move to Mexico and enjoying a better life. But it turns out that's not the case. And so now I'm in a situation where I have to do what I think is best for me. And if people are not on board, then I just have to navigate that and maybe just don't emphasize that. And who knows? A lot of times those kind of people are just negative because that's their instinct. They have reasons to be negative, and it also maybe they're looking out for their own interests. They want to be closer to me, and they don't want me to be far away. So in their interest, it makes more sense. So they can come up with all kind of excuses to sort of poo-poo the idea. But it's something that I really want to do, and I'm excited about it. What do you guys think? Have you had the experience where you're really excited about something and you tell somebody, "Hey, I want to do this or that," and they're like, "Oh, blah blah blah. That's a terrible idea. You're gonna do that. Oh, be careful about this." And oh, I heard from somebody who knows something about somebody else who says that XYZ. it's and they give some anecdotal reason why it's a bad idea to do something. I don't know, whatever it may be, even if it's just like, going for a jog in the morning. Oh, well, be careful because you're gonna get hit by cars or something like that. There's just some people are just worrywarts and negative, and they're always looking at the potential downsides. So if you've experienced that recently, send a comment. I'd like to hear about it, because it'll make me feel like I'm not alone in this dilemma. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. That's all I got for right now. Do me a favor and like and subscribe to the video. If you want to hear more of this kind of content, hit the notification bell so you get notified. And that's it. Have an awesome day. Peace and love, and I'll see you on the next one.